I'm Ralph Mangum, and this is the WHKY News. Time now for our weekly roundup of some of the top crime stories we had for you during the week of March 17th through March 21st. Here we go. High Country Crime Stoppers and UNC Appalachian Healthcare Police are asking for the public's assistance in solving a stolen vehicle case. At 1 o'clock this afternoon, a 2014 Ford Taurus police vehicle was stolen from the campus of the Watauga Medical Center. The vehicle is white and is marked Campus Police. The vehicle has a front-mounted push bar and a roof-mounted blue light. The vehicle will be missing the front right passenger window. The person of interest appears to be a male with dark-colored facial hair. He was last seen wearing a beige hooded sweatshirt and gray athletic pants. Anyone with information should call Crime Stoppers at 828-268-6959 or the UNC Health Police Department at 828-262-4168.
The crash occurred late Saturday night here in Caldwell County. The deceased is 33-year-old Cody Nathaniel Adams of Valdez. He was pronounced deceased at the scene. The North Carolina State Highway Patrol responded to the crash. At approximately 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol responded to Playmore Beach Road near Pax Hill Road. A 2015 Jeep Wrangler traveling south on Playmore Beach Road drove off the right side of the roadway, went down an embankment, overturned, and struck a tree. The driver of the Jeep, Cody Nathaniel Adams, passed away as a result of his injuries at the scene. The preliminary investigation indicates that alcohol was a contributing factor in this collision. During the on-scene investigation, the roadway was closed in the area for several hours. Reporting from Caldwell County for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
21-year-old Aiden Jerron Lee of 3rd Avenue Southwest in Conover was arrested Sunday by Conover police officers. He's charged with 3 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Lee was incarcerated in the Watauga County Detention Facility under a $500,000 bond. A Superior Court date was scheduled on March 17th.
More details have been released regarding the arrest of a man on multiple sex offense charges. 30-year-old Shadow Vincent Walsh of Orrin-Yunt Lane in Granite Falls was arrested last Tuesday by Hickory police officers. As WHKY previously reported, he was charged with 3 counts of indecent liberties with a child, 2 counts of statutory rape of a child 15 years old or younger, and 1 count of statutory sex offense with a child 15 years old or younger. Last Tuesday evening, a coordinated law enforcement operation led to the arrest of the suspect, who is a registered sex offender. The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office, in collaboration with the Hickory Police Department and the Newton Police Department, executed the warrant on Orrin-Yunt Lane in Granite Falls. The Caldwell County SWAT team and deputies apprehended Walsh at his residence. Walsh is a sex offender as a result of a conviction in March 2019 in Watauga County for 3rd-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. He received a 6 to 17-month prison sentence. Walsh was initially incarcerated in the Catawba County Detention Facility under no bond. Bond was later set at $600,000 secured. A district court date is scheduled for April 2nd. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
Multiple agencies were involved in this case. An officer reportedly tried to pull the suspect over. The suspect fled from that officer, resulting in a chase. Police eventually apprehended the suspect, who was charged with multiple offenses. 47-year-old Fortunato Vasquez Cruz of Shelby was arrested Saturday by Morganton public safety officers. He's charged with felony flee to elude arrest with a motor vehicle, driving while impaired, resisting an officer, and multiple additional highway violations, including speeding, reckless driving to endanger, failure to heed light and siren, and hit and run with property damage. Shortly before 10 p.m. Saturday, a public safety officer conducted a vehicle stop on a Nissan Altima for displaying a revoked license registration plate. The driver did not stop, but instead rapidly accelerated while the officer followed, according to police reports. The driver of the Nissan, identified as Fortunato Vasquez Cruz, reached speeds in excess of 80 miles per hour. The chase continued for approximately 8 miles, ending on Laurel Creek Street, when Cruz ran from his vehicle without placing it in park. His car rolled backward into the officer's vehicle, causing minor damage to both automobiles. Cruz continued to run from the officer for approximately 250 yards before he was apprehended. The suspect's vehicle was seized. Bond for Cruz was set at $21,000 secured as he awaited a Monday court date. The North Carolina State Highway Patrol and the Burke County Sheriff's Office assisted in this investigation. Reporting for WHKY News from Burke County, I'm Rob Eastwood. Both suspects arrested in this case were already facing charges. They were taken into custody in this case after the search of a home here in Caldwell County. Police reportedly seized methamphetamine and U.S. currency during their investigation. 58-year-old Billy Ray Potter and 30-year-old Kenzie Lynn Caldwell, both of the same Pioneer Trail Hudson address, were arrested last Friday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. Potter is charged with felony counts of possession with intent to sell and deliver methamphetamine and maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for controlled substance. Potter is currently under indictment for prior narcotics trafficking charges. Caldwell is charged with felony maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for controlled substance. She's currently on probation for prior narcotics charges. The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office ICE unit and Lenore narcotics detectives responded to a residence on Pioneer Trail in Hudson. The home was reportedly being used for selling meth. Officers executed a drug search warrant and agents seized approximately 22 grams of meth and $600 in U.S. currency during the investigation. The meth seized has a street value of $3,300. Potter was scheduled to appear in court Monday. Caldwell's next court date is March 31st. Reporting from Caldwell County, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
38-year-old Angelica Leanne Crane of Hickory will serve 7 to 10 years in prison for drug and property crimes following her guilty plea during Catawba County Superior Court Tuesday, March 18th. The Honorable Donald R. Curitan, Superior Court judge from Mecklenburg County, handed down the sentence. Crane was convicted for trafficking fentanyl by possession, possession of methamphetamine, identity theft, and obtaining property by false pretenses. Crane will also be required to pay a mandatory fine of $100,000 for the trafficking offense, as well as restitution in the amount of nearly $14,700 to victims of the identity theft and false pretenses charges. Crane was a passenger in the rear seat of a vehicle that was stopped in February of this year. Drug paraphernalia was seen in plain view in the vehicle. During a custodial scan of the defendant the next day, a trafficking amount of fentanyl was found in her person. In December 2024, a vehicle driven by Crane was stopped and a canine unit alerted to drugs in the vehicle. A search led to the recovery of meth. From June to August 2023, Crane and several co-defendants made fraudulent charges from the account of a now-deceased victim after obtaining his banking information. The cases were investigated by Wesley Crow of the Catawba County Sheriff's Office and Jacob Watson and Seth Vanderwerken of the Hickory Police Department. Assistant District Attorney Howard Wellens handled the prosecution with aid from legal assistant Meredith Scott.
According to police reports, the suspect in this case led officers on a chase that started in Lincoln County and ended in South Carolina. The suspect is charged with multiple drug trafficking counts. He also faces a firearm charge. The suspect was brought back to Lincoln County and placed in the Harvin A. Krause Detention Center. 33-year-old Matthew Clayton Barber of Lincoln County was arrested Monday by Lincoln County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with offenses including trafficking methamphetamine by possession and transport, trafficking fentanyl by possession and transport, possession with intent to sell and deliver meth and fentanyl, and possession of a firearm by a felon. On Monday, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office Narcotics Unit was doing surveillance on what authorities describe as a known drug house in western Lincoln County. When a vehicle left the residence, investigators attempted to conduct a traffic stop due to a reported highway violation and because the registered owner had a suspended driver's license. The suspect's vehicle fled and a chase followed. The vehicle traveled through Lincoln County into Gaston County and then into South Carolina. The chase ended in South Carolina, where the suspect, Barber, was taken into custody. Officers seized 54 grams of methamphetamine, 20 grams of fentanyl, 2 handguns, and 3 ounces of marijuana. Prior to this incident, there had been an open investigation on Barber for a narcotics violation. He was brought back to Lincoln County and placed in the Harvin A. Krause Detention Center under a no-bond hold as he awaited a Wednesday district court date.
The Granite Falls Police Department is asking for the public's assistance in help trying to find Gabrielle Alexandra Husarenko. She has an outstanding felony warrant for first-degree burglary stemming from an incident where the victim's service dog was stolen from their home. Photos of Husarenko, along with the vehicle she is known to drive, as well as a photo of the service dog she took from the victim's home, are all here in this story, also posted at WHKY.com. If anyone has information about the location of Gabrielle or the service dog, please contact Sergeant Detective Clint Ferguson at 828-415-8014. His email, clint.ferguson@granitefallsnc.gov, or call Crime Stoppers at 828-758-8300 for a cash reward. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
One of the 2 suspects in this case is charged with leading officers on a chase after fleeing a traffic stop. That chase reportedly ended when the suspect drove into a home. Both suspects were brought to the Caldwell County Detention Center under bonds of more than $100,000. 38-year-old Mitchell Ryan Grayson and 38-year-old Alicia Annette Taylor were arrested by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. They were arrested following a traffic stop and pursuit. Grayson is charged with 6 counts of probation violation, 2 counts of resist, delay, and obstruct a public officer, along with single counts of possession of a stolen motor vehicle, speeding to elude arrest, possession of drug paraphernalia, driving while license revoked, and defrauding a drug and alcohol screening test. Taylor is charged with possession of a stolen motor vehicle, possession of drug paraphernalia, resist, delay, and obstruct a public officer, and failure to appear. At approximately 1:20 a.m. Wednesday, Caldwell County Sheriff's deputies conducted a vehicle stop on a truck pulling a camper trailer near Clark's Chapel Road and Wonderland Trail in Lenoir. Deputies took Taylor into custody, but Grayson reportedly fled the scene in the vehicle. Deputies pursued, and the chase ended when Grayson crashed the vehicle into a residence. Further investigation revealed that the camper trailer had been stolen from Wilkes County. Grayson was brought to the Caldwell County Detention Center under a $197,000 bond. Bond for Taylor was set at $140,000. They are both scheduled to appear in court in Lenoir on April 7th. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
44-year-old William Andrew Gray of Stanley, North Carolina, was arrested Tuesday by Lincoln County Sheriff's officers. He was charged with trafficking methamphetamine, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a firearm by a felon. On Tuesday, Lincoln County Sheriff's deputies responded to the 4400 block of West NC 27 highway in reference to a suspicious circumstance call. Upon arrival, deputies found a suspicious vehicle occupied by a male and a female who were slumped over in the front seat. Upon further investigation, deputies reportedly found 27 grams of meth, cash, and a loaded firearm inside of the vehicle. Gray was arrested and taken before a Lincoln County magistrate, where he received a $130,000 secured bond and was placed in the Harvin A. Krause Detention Center. A district court appearance is scheduled for April 8th. Much more from our crime report at WHKY.com. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
21-year-old Traveris DeVar Kennedy of Charlotte was sentenced Thursday to 46 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release for possession of a firearm by a felon and possession of a machine gun. The announcement was made by Russ Ferguson, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina. In December 2023, a Statesville police officer attempted to stop a vehicle with an expired registration tag. Kennedy was a passenger. When the officer activated his blue lights, the driver sped away. When the vehicle came to a stop, the driver attempted to flee on foot. As the officer attempted to apprehend the driver, 2 firearms were thrown from the vehicle's passenger window into a wooded area. Officers found a 9mm Glock Model 19 and a stolen 9mm Glock Model 26. Both firearms had extended magazines and were modified with Glock switches, which are capable of converting conventional firearms into fully automatic weapons. A total of 55 rounds of ammunition were also recovered. The following month, Kennedy was arrested and his cell phone was seized. Officers found videos and photos of the defendant holding various firearms, many of which were fitted with Glock switches. They also found messages indicating that Kennedy was selling Glock switches on social media. When Kennedy was arrested, he was on probation for prior criminal convictions and was prohibited from possessing firearms or ammunition.
According to police reports, the suspect in this case called police about a break-in at his home and the theft of cash from a safe. When police responded to the home, they spotted firearms. The suspect is not allowed to own firearms due to the fact that he is a convicted felon. 58-year-old Anthony Leroy Wellman of Statesville was arrested Monday by Iredell County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and felony possession of a weapon of mass destruction. According to information released Thursday, Wellman reported a breaking and entering at his residence. Wellman stated that the suspect forcibly entered his safe and stole a substantial amount of cash stored inside. The investigation into that theft remains ongoing. During the course of the investigation, Iredell County deputies saw multiple firearms in the home. They determined they were owned by Wellman. Further investigation revealed that Wellman is a convicted felon and therefore cannot possess firearms. Investigators determined that Wellman knowingly had firearms in his possession despite being aware that it was unlawful. When deputies attempted to retrieve the firearms, Wellman reportedly became uncooperative and was detained. Deputies requested assistance from detectives and a search warrant was obtained. Investigators seized multiple firearms, ammunition, firearm accessories, and a weapon of mass destruction. Wellman received a secured bond of $50,000. His next district court appearance is scheduled for April 2nd. The investigation into the stolen cash remains active. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
This has been our weekly review of crime stories we had for you during the past week. Those were all from March 17th through 21st. Look for the weekly roundup every Saturday right here on the WHKY YouTube channel, along with all the rest of the WHKY News. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Ralph Mangum. This has been the WHKY News.